steaming piles of crap
Yes.
that are in the 2016 movie list.
Yes, let's do that, John.
There's a few. There's a plethora, if you will.
A plethora, exactly. That's a very good word. Well,
It could be, anyway.
yeah, my expected steaming piles of crap include, but are not limited to, Zoolander 2. Do we need a second Zoolander movie?
Have we learned nothing from Dumb and Dumber 2?
I don't understand it.
That's where I'm at with that. It's like Zoolander was good, but nobody went and saw that in the theater. Like that was a total DVD cult hit kind of thing. Like, and especially putting out Zoolander 2 now just makes no sense to me whatsoever.
So much time has passed, and
It's like,
yeah.
Even if you're just looking for a cash grab, that seems like an odd place to look.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, and what's the story there? Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, the whole thing. Ben-Hur, I had no opinion on until we found out that the person who was directing this, and I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce
Reboot. Wow.
his name, the director also directed Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Which is on theaters.
So,
did
I guess unless Ben-Hur's fighting some vampires,
I'd watch that movie.
I don't know what's going on with that. Beverly Hills Cop. Now, I've heard it's going to be a reboot, but then there's other reports that it could still be a sequel. But either way, Brett Ratner is attached to direct this thing, and I steer clear of anything that has Brett Ratner's name on it.
Not a fan of Rush Hour.
Nor was I a fan of X-Men Last Stand. So no, I'm not a Brett Ratner fan whatsoever.
But what if mutants show up in this one?
It's even more reason to stay away. Let's see. Skipping over movies I just don't care about.
You don't care about The Huntsman?
I know I don't care
The
about that.
Huntsman sequel.
I saw that first one in theaters. I don't remember a single scene from it.
Yeah, Snow White
It's the
and
most
Huntsman.
forgettable movie I've ever seen.
Angry Birds. Why is my question? That blows my mind.
Angry Birds 5 years ago? Sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's cash grab. It's topical. But now, I mean, you might as well just call it like, Rio or something because about the birds, the Rio movie, because it's the same type of thing. I'm assuming we kind of figured it end up being an animated.
It looks like it's animated.
I can't wait till the Peggle Blast movie. Peggle Blast movie.
It's just.
How about the Fruit Ninja movie? That's what I'm looking forward to. Let me tell you.
Now that's much better for TV. That one's better suited for that.
Okay.
We know that. We need the episodic format for Fruit Ninja.
Angry Birds.
Yeah. So, don't know why that is. And then, okay, the second Alice in Wonderland movie, which I think is officially titled Through the Looking Glass, but Tim Burton's not directing this one. James Bobin is directing this. He actually directed the last two more recent Muppet movies, which actually got
Those
pretty
Good.
Yeah, but
Reviews.
unless Alice is a Muppet,
Maybe
I'm
the
not.
whole
Yeah.
second Alice in Wonderland is just Muppets.
Maybe.
Hey, you can make that work for Alice in Wonderland, to be honest.
Yeah.
That would make more sense to me than a live action version.
But again, the first one was so terrible. The Tim Burton CG fest,
It
a
was
horrible Alice actress.
it was a pretty big slip up.
Yeah, it was bad. It was just bad all around. And to make a sequel to this, why? I don't know. Even Tim Burton didn't want to attach his name to this.
That's why is the question. Why is like so
That's a recurring theme today, I guess.
for all these movies like that's.
Yeah.
I look at most of them and I just say why.
Speaking of why, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
I mean, the why for most of these is well, the why for that one is money, 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 money.
Well, yeah, money, money, money. But
Have you seen that first one?
No, I refuse to see that.
I saw
Talk
that
about,
one.
like I said, ruining my
well,
childhood.
it's from what I've heard, and I've seen extensive reviews on it. It's basically April O'Neil the movie, featuring some of the Ninja Turtles, and they kill it because one of the things I heard is that they actually had a decent actor to play Shredder, but then fanboy rage over him not being Japanese made them recast and hire someone who is just basically a piece of cardboard as far as acting ability goes. And so they trashed what could possibly be maybe one of the better standout parts of that film.
Well,
They put it through a paper
haven't seen
shredder.
that movie opening weekend in theaters.
Ugh,
Don't ask.
you're dead to me.
Don't judge
Wow,
me.
you
Don't
actually-
you judge me.
You admitted that.
I would not expect it to be good. Okay.
That seems,
Let me get that out there right away.
You do that a
seems
lot.
to be an
You're giving these-
ongoing situation.
You're part
for
of the
you.
problem. You're giving the studios this money, man. I'm telling you. Oh.
Okay. And nothing hurt me more than going up to that booth and saying one for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay.
Ouch.
But I don't even know where I was going with it. But I'll say this: that movie had a far bigger problems than the Shredder.
I'm just pointing out one problem with that.
Those turtles.
They looked horrible.
They were horrific. I mean, oh.
No, there were so many things about that movie that was wrong based on the detailed reviews that I've seen. That we could do a whole review, a whole episode on just a review of that.
It's undoubtedly the worst Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie I've seen, and that includes the third one from when they time travel to Japan.
Yeah, that's
That
saying a lot.
includes the animated one. This might be worse than all of the Transformers movies, even. Which is saying a lot because I hate those
Combined?
Transformers movies.
Wow.
That movie. But
It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
There's no point to it.
So that's another one I'm disappointed in.
And then when it entered the rap song about the turtles, that's when I knew I was just done.
So
Go
much straight
ninja,
up.
go ninja, go.
Ugh.
So another one that makes me say why Uncharted. The video games themselves have good stories in them.
But they were essentially spoofs off of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
They
and
are,
the like.
yeah. So and
So-
I'll get to another. I'll
Point.
get to another one that's like that. A lot of video games are inspired by movies, and this is one of them that absolutely is, but also has its own contained stories. I don't need to see a movie do it. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
meta at this point where we're going with some of these things. It's insane. Warcraft, I can actually see that there is a rich lore there, so I kind of at least understand that. At least as long as they're going to go into that and they don't make it like the video game. Because all of these video game movies go there and they go, we're going to make it like the video game. And then they suck because
like
they do
Doom.
that painful first-person shooter part. Like that whole movie's painful, but that part that blew my.
But you were in the game. Yeah, bad. Like I said, if you want to be in the
And
game,
only The Rock's charisma saved him from completely obliterating his career that early on. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing else that saved him.
Well, the fact that Carl Urban survived that movie.
Yeah, that
is
too. They
surprising.
both survived that. That's telling of both their abilities.
it's just bad.
Independence Day 2. No,
Haven't we said all we really needed to say in the first Independence Day?
the first Independence Day is a giant piece of garbage. Okay, it's a Roland Emmerich movie.
Send all your hate mail to James.
Go ahead. I'm already gonna get a ton for Jurassic World. What do I care? Independence.
You'll be dead by then. It's
I will. Look, someone will track me down and kill me.
See, I know better than to make all the Independence Day fans angry
I
at
don't
me.
care. Bring it on. Like
Regardless of what I may or may not think of the movie.
Independence Day was horrendous on almost every level. The only thing that I
With
can
an awesome speech.
our Independence Day. Well, see, Bill Pullman just was hanging out quite a bit with Robert Loggia on set.
well,
Just turned out that way.
the only good thing is at the end there is the cameo by Rocker Dude. You know, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then that's just the point. See,
No idea what you're talking about.
there's very little in
Inside
that movie that's
joke.
good. It's kind of an inside joke, but if you're a Riff Tracks fan, you probably know what I'm saying if you've seen the Riff Tracks of Independence Day. Rocker Dude's pointed out for you, and he's the best part of it. But that whole movie is just horrendous. And I don't see how a Roland Emmerich sequel to a horrible movie is going
Has he
to.
ever done a sequel?
All of his movies can be considered sequels in my book.
Yeah, I mean they're all the one ongoing saga of destruction.
It's what it is. I mean,
That's another just big why.
mhm.
Why?
And then, in case you didn't get your fill of Transformers movies, there's a fifth piece of garbage on the way. And so Marky Mark, minus his Funky Bunch, will probably be in this one too.
Rumor has it they're gonna do a trilogy with him.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
why?
you know, be ready for that, because that's going to be awesome. I would say Tarzan, but it's got a surprisingly, good director. David Yates directed some of the better Harry Potter movies, and he's directing this. And it also has Margot Robbie in this, who is playing Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, but also Samuel Jackson. Not necessarily as Sam Jackson as a seal of quality. He's in every movie, and
Sam
a
Jackson
very
as
important. If Sam Jackson is Tarzan.
Me, Tarzan, you, Jay.
Oh man, there's so many things I could say if that was true. Wow. Ice Age 5. Why?
I'm surprised they're still making these. I didn't even know there was a 4.
Yeah, and neither did I, which tells you something.
I guess they can. I guess they just can keep making them if they keep making money. That's the why, but it's
Yeah.
pointless to me.
And here's another one, the last one that's slated to come out at the end of December. Another example of a video game franchise that is based off of a movie, in my opinion. Although I haven't actually seen this written down, but it's pretty obvious. Assassin's Creed, which is basically The Matrix. Especially the early games where they get plugged into a chair and you go into an alternate world. Now of course it's
I can see it.
It's your ancestors' DNA, but it's heavily inspired by the Matrix in that sense.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that movie being made. Especially since the style of the Assassin's Creed games have their own self-contained, complete story arcs and everything. Like, are we just gonna
As insane
retell?
as it goes.
Yeah.
Are we just gonna retell the video games again, kind of like Uncharted? I just don't understand where you're gonna go with that.
I'm just right. I'm trying to think if is there any video game movie that was actually good, like that you can think of? Like I have.
I had one. That,
I was a huge fan of Mortal Kombat Annihilation, let me tell you. And the tagline said it all: annihilate your expectations. So,
well, the movie did a good job of that. I'll
It
say that.
did.
They say it in the movie that you need to test your might of pain of watching this
Your
movie.
pain
I guess?
threshold,
I don't
maybe?
know. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was great when I was a kid when I saw it, but that doesn't mean it's any good.
The tagline should have been "Test your luck."
Yeah, no, I can't think of a good comic book movie. The closest thing that ever came to a good
How about
one,
a video game movie?
video game movie. The only thing that came close to being good is maybe the first Mortal Kombat.
But
was
even that.
Okay in parts, but not, it wasn't good by any means. But there's moments that I still quote to this day from that first Mortal Kombat movie that greatly amused me.
It's at best a guilty pleasure.
But I'm not saying I don't have it. I don't. Again, I'm not a huge fan, but that's the closest I think I've ever seen it as a comic book being good, and it has excellent music. That theme music is awesome.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you that.
I'll have to actually like research that a little bit and just see because You'd think there would be one that would
Yeah.
pop up off the top of my
They're
head,
all
but I just
they're all terrible.
I can't think of it. Max
Prince of-
Payne, terrible. Street
Oh.
Fighter, oh my god! If
Prince
you want to
of Persia
see
was terrible.
Prince of Persia
Prince
was
of Persia, terrible.
Um,
Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Holy crap!
Raul
Raul
Julia.
Julia. I think that was his last movie.
He died. Yeah, I'd have to.
That might have been self-inflicted.
For
I don't
me,
know.
it was Tuesday. Oh, I love that line.
So bad.
Oh, yeah. I can't think of a single comic book movie that is actually
Video
good.
game.
Video game.
Sorry, I keep saying that.
You gotta go and post it.
Yeah.
Dug over
Comic
yourself.
book movies are
Video.
good, James.
Well,
Recently.
depending on the one. Yeah,
Recently.
recently. No.
Surprisingly.
No, but I don't know.
I can't think of one.
I can't think
I'll
of one
have to
either.
actually do a little bit of research on that. Maybe touch on that on the next video.
Yeah.
Because I can't
Yeah.
think of one. off
There's
the
not
top
one
of
that
my
I've
head.
ever gone to see or wanted to go see where I'm like, oh wow, that's gonna be good.
Like Hitman, terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And they're making another one of those.
Yeah, they're doing a remake of Hitman.
So bad.
Yes, it is.
Bald. I can't think of that actor's name, but that guy Bald was terrible.
Oliphant?
Yeah, Timothy Oliphant. It just did not fit remotely at all. I was like, what are you... I mean, not what are you doing? You're doing it because you're not that well known of an actor and you got a paycheck, but holy crap.
He's a bald guy in a suit who kills people. I mean, how hard is that to mess up?
Pretty not hard at all. I
So
guess.
yeah, anyways, I can't think of one, but you know, those are mine that I'm
Yeah, I
just
mean,
bewildered at. Which is like
we pretty
more
much
than half of them.
we pretty much hit we pretty much hit on every single one. Like they're making another Jason Bourne movie. Like who needs that? I don't know. That could be good depending on who's involved with it. If Matt Damon.
Jeremy Renner and Matt Damon are supposed to be in it
Yeah.
together in this one. And again, like I'm a sucker for the spy type espionage movies. Like again, we talked about that. Like Mission Impossible, 007. This fits into that wheelhouse. And so I went to go see the last one, Bourne Legacy, with Renner, and it was okay.
Yeah.
But you know, I didn't walk out of there being necessarily disappointed either. Like saying, "Oh, this is a bad movie." So
Yeah.
I'm giving this one a little bit of a break, depending on what it shows me.
Like,
I'm,
yeah, I thought
I'm in
the-
the middle of the road.
I thought the Bourne Identity was a fantastic movie.
Oh, it was.
It was completely unexpected. I had absolutely no expectations whatsoever because it's Matt Damon in an action movie like that. Whoever thought of that was a genius because that shouldn't have worked, and it did because of how it was presented. I think. you
Yeah.
know,
No,
like,
they did a phenomenal
that
job.
shouldn't have worked.
We
at
forget
all.
now that was a ludicrous idea at the time.
Yeah.
But, you know. Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
But do we need another one? I don't know.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah, do we need an old Jason Bourne?
Get off my lawn, or I'll remember how to kill you somehow. Now he's not only is he fighting memory loss from where he was created. He's
Now
just
it's
old
age.
now.
He's getting like Alzheimer's.
Dementia. I thought I remembered. Ah.
And then I fought the Nazis. Oh wait, did I? Not sure. With Indiana Jones. It's him and me.
Who am I? I want some tea. Bring me my shawl. He's not even that old. He wouldn't be that old. What are we talking about? I don't know.
I don't know, it's my fault, okay?
Oh, I don't think it's your fault. It's when John and I get together, we can go on weird tangents. It's just what we do. Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good.
All right. Anyway, back to disappointments.
I think we're.
Much.
I think we're good. I think the only movie we didn't mention was maybe Finding Dory, the Nemo sequel, which once again, the only one who's been asking for that is Ellen DeGeneres. So, yeah, I don't know.
She got it.
And she got it, but
I mean, yeah, that one's an odd one just because of how much time has
Yeah.
passed between Finding Nemo and now. I mean, seems
You
a little
would
late to-
think
you're a
that
little late
if
to
they
the
were
party.
gonna like that was totally that movie was totally made back on the bandwagon days where all of a sudden they weren't like I want to figure out when that actually happened when they started making movies and it wasn't just one movie anymore. They started making movies and they knew that they had to at least make a sequel or a trilogy. Like that's just how it is now.
It
Like,
is.
They can't just make one movie and be like, okay, we're good. Like The Matrix should have stopped at The Matrix. That's it. The other two were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
2 was okay. There's so many like that, but I mean,
Yeah,
this is just a why.
And I hate to say it, but I almost think the beginning of the trilogy started kind of with Star Wars. I mean,
But really though,
big blockbuster trilogies. I mean,
I guess. I mean, you
Star
had
Wars-
Jaws 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
I mean,
and,
I hate to say it, but that's kind of where it started. That was back in '77.
I guess that's always. Maybe that's always kind of been around. It just seems like it's more prevalent now.
I think it is more prevalent now. I definitely do. I think just over time, it's just been the way studios know how to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier to make money off an established franchise than a brand new
and try and
property.
start a new idea.
And that's why reboots are becoming more and more popular too. Because again, hey, people know the Jungle Book. Let's make a Jungle Book remake. People know Tarzan. Let's do that.
Do people know the Jungle Book nowadays? I'm not sure if kids know that one.
I think the kids who
Mowgli?
grew up are now.
Come on.
I think that's why they're doing it live action because the kids who grew up on that are now adults, and now if they're going to do a more mature take on it,
they've already done a live action of the Jungle Book.
did they?
Yeah, they totally did.
Well, they're obviously not old enough to remember that. So.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. But I think it might be for that generation. It's for that older generation. Because again, Hollywood's more popular thing to do now is nostalgia, right? You're there. So
Definitely.
that's another thing with the reboots. Like, now you're gonna harken back to your favorite franchise, like Ghostbusters. They're not doing that because it's appropriate to do it. They're doing it because hey, nostalgia dictates we should do it.
Oh, and that's not it. They're making a Ghostbusters with an all-female cast, and they're totally talking about making one with an all-male cast too, with Channing Tatum.
That was after all of the uproar because people just can't stand to have women take their franchise.
And for me personally, it's not that. Like, one of the reasons I'm kind of down on Ghostbusters is more that they set out to do, like, we're just going to do an all-female cast. Instead of just making a script and just coming out and saying, if there are females involved in the crew, cool, or if they're male, let's make the funniest movie possible, and not, like...
And not working around a gimmick.
Yeah, it's like saying, oh, we're just going to do an all-white cast, or an all-black cast, or an
I'm not gonna go into that
all-female
territory.
cast. It's the same kind of general idea of... instead of doing the funniest movie possible,
don't work around a gimmick.
Yes, exactly. It's a gimmick. It's a we're going to put this stipulation on this movie.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden that cuts off possibilities, like right from the get-go, just because you've made this gimmick or
if
stipulation.
if you're writing the script and it's like, I wonder, this would actually work better if it was an all-female Ghostbusters team. And it'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that actually,
if that's the case,
but
that's fine.
Is that how scripts are written? Probably.
I think people just sit down and they write down what they think a good story would be.
Yeah.
And but this was even before a script was put out. That it was the prerogative of we're just going to put this stipulation on it, which is the first time I've actually really heard of that happening.
Yeah. It is, now that you mention it that way, it is very gimmicky.
I don't know. That's my only thing. I'm not saying that's going to make it a terrible movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care because I'm not going to go see it either way, and I already have my Ghostbusters films. I'm happy with that. I can revel in those. The only thing that I've ever been upset about is that I don't have my original Star Wars movies. If I had those, I don't care what you do with Star Wars.
Those may be coming.
And they may be coming. But as long as I have my originals, that's part of the reason why I don't care if you reboot something or redo it. I really don't. But, I just hate the gimmick. I hate the relegation.
Yeah.
But
I'm not gonna say anything about that.
good. But other than that, I mean, there are some that are just so ambiguous that you just don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, who knows? But 2016, either way, we're gonna have options.
It's gonna be kind of a roller coaster ride, I think.
It should be, and who knows what original projects are going to be in here? Who knows what's going to move? Because I really doubt that both Independence Day 2 and Transformers 5 are going to come out on the same day.
same day.
Like they're slated, they're slated there right now, but I bet you one of them's going to blink.
Well, obviously, Independence Day 2 would move up to July 4th again. Is that when that's when the
Yeah,
original
you
came
think.
out?
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
they could.
Back when in what 97?
Something like that.
Ridiculous.
And then,
Gosh.
you know, all of these movies, there's a lot of movies on June 10th. I mean, Conjuring 2 will probably stay there, but either Uncharted or Warcraft is going
The
to
Conjuring 2 completely pointless. Like,
Yeah.
The Conjuring was a good horror movie.
But I mean,
Don't make a sequel.
it was basically Insidious.
True, but it was done. It was done better. It was
I
done-
know, but
But there's been an Insidious like 2, 3, 4.
the
so
third
why
one of
not
those
make-
is coming out
Why
soon.
not make Conjuring 2? I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just
There's a market for it.
there's a market for it, and I hate that that's kind of. I think that's why I mean, there are definitely some good studio movies, but I think that's why I'm a little bit more indie prone, depending on the movie, I guess, because it's just becomes so much about money.
Any coincidence that we're getting a Poltergeist remake when all these Insidious and
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean,
they're coming out?
Yeah, it's just,
It's obvious they're cashing in.
It's
on
sad.
This fad.
it's sad. I mean, another thing too, looking at these movies, if Alice in Wonderland through Looking Glass knows what's good for it, it's gonna move away from X-Men Apocalypse because
Yes.
I mean, it's
Wow.
gonna get obliterated. If I was them,
I would put it with the Angry Birds.
no, I would
I
actually
take my chances.
I'd move it up to Friday the 13th because these are two separate audiences.
Yeah.
And I think you'd get a little lead in, you'd get a couple weeks in.
You're not gonna split
with
your
your
fan
crowd.
base too much there.
You're not. And so if I was them, I'd move it up to May 13th, let X-Men Apocalypse run unopposed, and you make your money there. I just think that's a little silly that they're both coming out there like, okay, if you really want to go up against that powerhouse, because it's gonna be, you know, whether it's good or bad, X-Men Apocalypse is probably gonna make a boatload of cash.
Yeah.
So
Any comic book movie's gonna make a boatload of cash nowadays.
yeah. So yeah. I don't know. Any closing thoughts on our big list of 30 plus movies before we call it a night?
No, like I said, it's going to be an interesting year. It's going to be a busy year, and I just hope there's some gems in there, and I'm hoping that some of our negative predictions are positive.
Yeah, that were proven wrong.
That were proven wrong.
Yeah.
And I hope that we're not proven wrong for our positive.
And that's the thing too. If we make negative predictions out there, I hope I'm wrong. I
Oh,
want
yeah.
movies to be good. Just let me put that caveat out there. I hope that I'm blown away by a lot of these movies that I've said I think are going to be garbage. Now the problem is with that, I'm usually right when it comes to these movies. For me, obviously, if I think it's going to be bad, it comes out, then it turns out it's bad. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
That
Like,
makes sense, yeah.
That's what I'm coming.
That's
from.
why I try. As hard as it is to do, I try to go into something with as little to or no expectations whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to do that.
Oh, it is. You're always going to have a little bit of bias going into a film, one way or the other.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you have low expectations, at least it might surprise you.
well,
But-
and like with Star Wars Episode 7 coming out, it's so hard for me not to, at this point,
Yeah.
want to go in there as the biggest fanboy as I
Yeah.
can. You try to temper that down, but that's where I'm going to be
Nice.
probably coming in. I'm going to be
Finally come around to my side of things, I see.
No, I already said
What are you, the
before.
emperor? Good lord.
No. I don't know where that came from because even in our first episode, I said that I'm trying to temper my fanboy expectations. So
Let
yeah,
yourself
but,
be controlled by
you
the
know.
dark side.
But I'm probably going to come in there with a very positive view, unless there's a trailer that comes out between now and then that goes the other way for me. And so, is that going to color what
Are you
Star
gonna
Wars
let
is going to be
down?
for me? Well, it could. I sure hope it's not George Lucas prequel status, because otherwise, the next episode of the Film Authority, immediately following The Force Awakens, will just be 2 hours of me crying. Hysterically.
That's kind of
In the
normal.
shower in your Mandalorian armor.
Exactly. Ping, 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 ping.
That's a normal Tuesday for James.
Eh, that is the sad truth. It is the normal.
Best not to ask how he knows that.
Ben, I thought we weren't going to go there.
Damn it. But no, I think we're covered.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I know we've been doing a lot of looking into the future of film lately. Next time on Film Authority, I think we're going to kind of start doing some more current stuff. Maybe we'll take a look into the past. We have a lot of things in the works as far as topics that we're going to be covering. We're going to change up the format a little bit coming up, but we'll save that for next time, and we will see you here next time on the Film Authority. So yeah,